So cool. I miss that view. Good morning. I'd like to share a short breathwork and gratitude prompt with you. This is something that we do every morning at Upside Tattoo. And I like doing this with all of the clients, all the artists at the start of our day. Number one, just because we're in a big space, there's a lot of people and there's always that nervousness, perhaps that excitement, some anxiety about getting tattoo, but just also like the lack of familiarity with people. So at the start of our day, after everyone kind of gets settled into their space, they get to size up their stencil, we all gather around in our gratitude circle and we lead a little breath work. So I'm just going to describe how it's going to go. We're going to do 3 deep breaths together. It's always with power, with energy through the mouth, and I'll demonstrate. But if you're driving, running, or cycling, don't do this. Perhaps save this for another time. But 3 deep breaths with power, with energy through the mouth, and it's... And you're going to hold your breath for 5 seconds until you hear a clap. Full exhale from the diaphragm. Each breath hold we're going to do is 5 seconds longer than the last. So it'll be a 5-second hold, 10 seconds, and a 15 seconds. By the end of that, I'll guide us to a gratitude prompt, and then we share and we continue our day. If you're driving, perhaps you can just be mindful of your breath. Keep your eyes open, but don't do any breath holds while you're driving, running, or cycling. But if you're here and you're present and you want to take part in this, this is a great way for you to kind of have a reset, connect with yourself, be present, but also, again, just to relax any tension, any anxiety, and just kind of get ready for the day. So what I'd like you to do is to be able to sit up nice and tall in your most comfortable seat. And whether you're sitting on the floor, on a chair, just close your eyes and breathe gently in and out through the nose. And as you're breathing, relax any tension in the body. Relax your shoulders, your jaws. Find a comfortable place for your hands, your elbows, your ankles. And before we begin, together we'll take a deep inhale through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. And inhale through the mouth. Let's keep our eyes closed and resume slow, controlled breathing. And as you're breathing, be mindful of your body, aware if you feel any sensations or any movements. How do you feel today? And for today, let's search for a recent moment of gratitude or joy, thinking about a moment that lights us up. And with that moment, think about where you were. Perhaps you were coming from somewhere or going somewhere. And within that space, think about if you're by yourself or with other people. And lastly, bring that moment to life with all of your senses, your sense of sight, sound, smell, taste, or touch. And once you've found your moment, you may open your eyes and return. So at Upside, not this, but we have a sharing stick, a gratitude stick. It's a stick that my daughter found at the park, and I just found it to be like a perfect size, perfect weight, texture. And when we have the stick and we pass it around, we share our name, we share a bit of our gratitude and joy, and yeah, it just kind of gives us that space to share. So my name's Andy, and my moment comes from two moments. Most recent one was this morning. I got a FaceTime call from my family, my wife, my son, my daughter. I'm currently in Las Vegas right now. I'm on a work trip for the week, tattooing. So to be away from family is always a challenge for me. I love being with them. But to get that FaceTime call first thing in the morning as my daughter's getting ready to head out the door for school, seeing my son's face up close to the camera, just sparks a lot of joy for me. So I really enjoyed that. And then last night, as I finished a long day of tattooing, getting ready to check into my hotel, there was just this feeling of like taking my suitcases out of the car, rolling it across the parking lot. And for a brief moment, I just kind of stopped. I looked around to see where I was, what I was doing. And I just kind of laughed and I chuckled. I was like, man, like how grateful am I to be able to tattoo for a living, to be able to travel for work, to have the flexibility to be here and record a podcast, just to be able to still have a healthy body, to move around and to get to do the things that I like. So being able to reflect on that moment yesterday as I was walking in to check into my hotel was just kind of a great feeling. And as soon as I got into bed, nice comfy bed, went to sleep, and just ready to start the day today. From here, I'd love for you to be able to take a moment, whether you pause this video, this audio, and whether you speak it out loud, you write about it, you share it with the friends that are nearby you, share your name, right? So it's first just as we're sitting in a circle, sharing who you are, your presence for the first time, reflecting, going back into that moment of whatever came up for you. And as we pass the stick around, it's great because you start to see people's personalities open up. And you can you have a feeling when you have the first impression when you meet people, but when they sit down and they see how I share, how the next person shares, it allows them to just kind of open up and be themselves within the space. And we start to recognize patterns that we all have a lot of things in common. You know, there's a reason why we choose to get tattooed, why we work the jobs that we do, why we spend time with the people that we do, why we have certain memories. So to be able to share that within a day, sometimes it's full of laughter. Sometimes there's some tears. There's gratitude through loss, right? When you have family members who want to get tattoos of a memorial piece, there's a bit of grieving that happens, but there's a lot of gratitude for those memories for that person, so they perhaps want to memorialize that person on them. Other times it's just the ability to wake up or to still have life after a close encounter on the way to work or home or even on the way to the tattoo shop. But just for the simple things too, for the change in weather, for being able to share a space together, for having a healthy body, for having food, things like that. People of all kinds, when we share this space together and we start to like have that moment, it's really profound. And what's interesting is that as I began to do this more and more, I found that some people don't know how to find gratitude, which is why that prompt, I tried to really allow you to live in that moment, to kind of like go back to where you were, with who you were with, activate all of the senses. Because when you're within that space, if you're going through a time when perhaps it's dark, or you're feeling anxious, nervous about your tattoo, right? You're kind of like stuck within a moment in time. Perhaps it's something that happened in the past or something that's about to happen in the future, or even just right now if you're going through something. Having that moment to just kind of find that stillness through those breath holds, which sometimes is a long time for a lot of people, and then just to go back to that slow, controlled breathing, being aware of all the sensations or any movements in your body, and then going through that moment of joy and gratitude. It allows you to kind of change your state of being. So I've been doing this for about 2.5, almost 3 years now at Upside. And there are some days where I feel like it's a bit much. I don't want to do this. Can somebody else lead? And I don't lead the breathwork or gratitude share all the time. All the artists are able to do it. Our consultants, shop managers, able to do it as well. And on those days that I feel like I don't want to do it, those are the days I need it most. And I can just sit there and remember, as someone else is leading it, this is why I do this each day. And sometimes I don't get a chance to meditate in the morning. I don't get a chance to run through my full morning routine, or it's just things aren't going the way that we want them to be. We've got a little bit of stress or whatever it is that's going on. Those are the days that taking just a few minutes for yourself ends up being really profound. So I found that instead of sitting for a 20-minute, 30-minute meditation, can we do a short breath work? And it's 3 breath holds. If you can't do that, whatever moment that you're in, before you react or respond to someone or something, or before you step into the door of your next adventure or your next job, can you just sit there in your car or wherever you are or standing and take a moment to close your eyes, slow your breath, slow your thoughts, and just bring all of your awareness to your senses right here. And even if it's just a deep breath in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth, in the nose, out the mouth. There's just a physiological response that happens, that you just de-stress, relax, and whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Right? You're going to have those next events in life come your way. We don't necessarily have control over how it happens, but we have control over how we can choose to look at that moment, our perception of it, how we choose to enter with our state of being. I choose to enter most of life with a calm state of being. It doesn't happen all the time. I want to be able to be as ready as I can for moments that I'm aware of, moments that I'm prepared for, but also moments of uncertainty. So these short breath works, these short pauses allows me, perhaps it will allow you the time, just kind of be centered, get back to who you are, where you are, find that moment of gratitude for this day, this past month, this past year, this past life, and just enjoy it a little bit more.